In 1949, a 14-year-old boy began speaking in a voice that did not belong to him. Doctors couldn't explain it. Psychologists walked away, and the Catholic Church documented every detail in secret journals. What happened to that boy became the foundation for The Exorcist. But the real story was never meant for the public. I spent weeks going through church records, psychiatric notes, and first-hand witness diaries that were never intended to be read outside the clergy. And what I found was far more disturbing than anything shown in the film. This is the real Exorcist case. January 1949. Cottage City, Maryland. The boy was 14, quiet, intelligent, completely ordinary. Nothing about him stood out until his Aunt Harriet died. Harriet had been deeply involved in spiritualism. She believed the dead could speak to the living, and for months she had been teaching her nephew how to use a Ouija board. They treated it like a game. After her funeral, the boy locked himself in his bedroom. He placed his fingers on the planchette and asked a single question. "Aunt Harriet, are you there?" The planchette moved. It spelled yes. But what answered him was not his aunt. Within days, scratching sounds began echoing through the house, always at night, always from his room. His bed shook violently. Objects slid across the floor when no one was touching them. One night, his mother awoke to the sound of her son laughing. Not giggling, laughing slowly, rhythmically, as if someone was practicing how to sound human. Then his parents saw it happen. A heavy chair slid across the room by itself. Red marks appeared on his skin, deep, bleeding scratches, forming words as they watched. This was no longer a prank. His parents took him to doctors. Neurologists ran tests. Psychiatrists evaluated him. They checked for epilepsy, schizophrenia, brain tumors. Everything came back normal. But the boy was getting worse. He began speaking in languages he had never learned: Latin, Aramaic, ancient Greek. His voice dropped into a register that did not sound human. Whenever God was mentioned, he became violent. By this point, doctors admitted something no parent wants to hear. They had no explanation and no solution. Desperate, the family contacted Father E. Albert Hughes. Father Hughes was skeptical. In 20 years of priesthood, he had never believed in demonic possession. He assumed every case was psychological. That changed within an hour of meeting the boy. Hughes decided to attempt an exorcism. During the ritual, the boy spoke in another voice, one that knew intimate details of the priest's childhood, things no one else could know. A bottle of holy water flew across the room and shattered. The boy broke free from his restraints with unnatural strength. Then he grabbed a loose bed spring and slashed the priest's arm. Father Hughes required over 100 stitches. The exorcism was abandoned. The priest never spoke publicly about that night again. The family fled to St. Louis, hoping distance would end it. It didn't. Jesuit priests assembled a team and began what would become 6 weeks of documented exorcisms. Every session was recorded in detailed diaries. Here is what they wrote. March 10th. The boy's body contorted in ways that defy anatomy. His voice dropped unnaturally. He spoke fluent Latin. March 16th. Words appeared on his skin: spite, hell, go. April 1st. The mattress levitated. 4 grown men could not hold it down. They stopped trying. On April 18th, during the final ritual, the priests asked one question: "Who are you?" The voice answered with a number and laughed. Then suddenly, the boy screamed a single word: "Christus!" and everything stopped. When he woke, he looked around the room and said quietly, "He's gone." The boy remembered nothing. The priests ordered the family never to speak of it again. He was given a new identity. He lived a normal life. Marriage, career, children. No relapses. No episodes. Whatever happened in 1949 never returned. Skeptics offer explanations: mental illness, trauma, religious hysteria, even unconscious psychokinesis. And on paper, they make sense. But one problem remains: the languages. The boy spoke classical Latin, grammatically complex, structurally correct, only during the exorcisms. He had never studied it before. He never spoke it again. So either a 14-year-old boy spontaneously learned an ancient language during a psychological collapse, or something else was speaking. In 1971, a writer read about this case. He changed the boy into a girl, changed the name to Regan, and turned it into The Exorcist. The movie terrified the world, but the real story stayed buried, because something happened in that room. Something witnessed, documented, and never fully explained. And the church still performs exorcisms today, quietly, carefully, only after doctors fail. Because whatever happened in 1949, they're afraid it could happen again.